background, like meditation sound?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on my laptop. To me, it helps relax.
It does. Because I'm nervous and I'm doing the interview.
Why you nervous?
It's my first time.
Girl, so you know we can do like 30,000 different takes. Like,
Greetings, it's your girl Krystal here. On behalf of Always Be Decked, I'm conducting our first interview. As you may or may not know, Always Be Decked is a platform dedicated to uplifting, inspiring, and motivating the next generation of phenomenal women. We are here to inspire, to teach, and to lead. So with that being said, I have my first person that I'm interviewing. Her name is Acacia. I've known her for about a year and a half now. She's a teacher, she's a leader. She does a bunch of things that I'm not going to try to explain. I'm gonna go ahead and let her introduce herself, and we're gonna get this going, all right?
all right, thank you, Ms. Krystal. That was a wonderful introduction. As she said, my name is Acacia. What I've done over the past 10 years is basically build a digital community that is multi-layered, that seeks to take leading edge thinking and place it into corporations, creative building, health and wellness, including mental health and sustainability. So I do that by investing into people. I invest into their mental health by providing high quality herbs and natural remedies. I invest into restructuring corporations by providing online training that is centered around conscious corporations and implementing health and wellness initiatives. I invest into creative people because I love that creative thing by providing constructive feedback, by guiding them into their highest potential so they can actually create whatever it is they want to create. And also sustainability. When I work with clients, I like to really talk about whatever they're building, how it's going to have an impact on the present, but also in the future. And how does that business impact Earth? Are we building a wellness business, or are we just building a business that's based off of money, finance? So that's pretty much what I do. I'm here to serve. I'm a servant.
And I'm just gonna say, as somebody that met her a year ago, you know, from our initial conversation when I first met her, my life is completely different. I'm not saying that she's the complete reason my life is different, but I will say that a lot of the things, a lot of the words that she gave me, a lot of the advice, just a lot of the things that we've talked about, and it hasn't been much. You know, we talk, but it's not like a constant thing. I just feel like the little bit of things that she has done, or you know, whatever, it's just really made a difference. Like, I'm a completely different person than I was when I met her. Like, when I say completely different, like 360 degree change. And I always, when I think back to that, I always say that, you know, you definitely played a part in that. And I don't want to get like teary because that's just me.
Girl,
I'm a like very like emotional type of person because, you know, my personal growth and just where I've been trying to get to has all been like kind of like hazy for me until like these last year. And I promise you, it did not start until I met you. So, and it was like the way I met her, it was just completely intuitive. So, you know, I just really believe in whatever she puts out. Like, I believe in everything that she does. So that's why I wanted her to be my first interview, because I just felt like what better way to give back than to show people and give people an avenue for themselves, in a sense. You know, like, this is where I started. Maybe you could, you know, network and, you know, reach out, and maybe you could start as well and reach the heights that I've reached. I'm not even done yet. I'm just getting started. You know, this is about to go up. But anyways, so with that being said, we're just going to jump right into the interview, and I'm going to ask the question of the month. Okay. So the question of the month is basically, what motivates you to do what you do? Like, what are the things that motivate you to just get up every day and do the things that you feel led to do? Like,
so, ooh, that's a deep question. And that's a whole question. So what motivates me? Well, honestly, love motivates me. I'm such a heart-centered person. I love to see people thrive. I love to see people smile. I love to see people reach and achieve their dreams. And that gives me the motivation to keep going. Just honestly, it's just love. And that sounds so corny, I know. It's such a cornball thing to say, but it's true. Like, people say all the time, well, what's your brand and what it is you do? Like, I promote love. I promote going to your highest potential. I promote, you know, you finding your uniqueness. And when someone says, like, man, I talked to her and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and now I'm like, oh, that just, it gives me the motivation to continue to keep going.
okay. Shit, I'm like lost on what to say now.
we're going to edit this part out.
Okay, so with all that being said, with all the great things that you're putting out into the community, I would love to know more about you and the Acacia community and how you actually came about starting it. Like, I know you were in corporate America, so I just want to get a little bit more insight into how you've been able to build what you've built.
So I was naturally born with spiritual gifts, the gift of hearing, the gift of sight, and I kind of bottled that down for a very long time. It wasn't until I turned 30 that my spiritual gifts began to heighten, and I could not ignore them anymore. I started dating a guy, and he was very spiritually in tune, and we just developed and sprouted together. But I've always had a passion for being in the helping profession. So my degrees are in psychology, applied developmental psychology. So I wanted to take my love for helping and my gift, my spiritual gifts, and combine them together. So for a while, I was just a mental health therapist, and I was teaching at schools for students with unique learning profiles, meaning that 95% of the population had some sort of like a mental label or mental disorder. And again, my heart was like, man, I really want to see these kids thrive. I really want adults to not have these mental disorders. But I felt the way that the Western society handles these things was more detrimental than positive. So I have all of this stuff mulling over inside of me. And so from there, I created a children's book, my first children's book, David's Having Distractions. And that book is kind of like a mascot for students or really anyone who feels like they just do not fit in. And so from there, I just continuously built little pieces of me, inward expressions that I wanted to put out. And fast forward 12 years later, I have this Acacia community. And so leaving corporate America, I was working at a nonprofit, which I love dearly. And I never really saw myself necessarily being an entrepreneur. I saw myself having like stuff on the side. But I got to a point to where I felt in corporate America that my voice was not being heard. I wasn't being respected. I felt like they wanted my ideas, but they didn't want to say they were your ideas. And I always say with this last job, I've never felt like a woman of African descent until I started working there. Like, meaning I didn't walk around like, oh, black power, oh, I'm a woman. I never felt like I needed to do that. I never felt like a black woman. But being in that corporate setting, I felt like a black woman. And I knew that I had to go. And so all of this with social media, helping, loving, creating, all of that put the Acacia community together. And it was really someone on Instagram that kind of said this is a Acacia community. Someone on Instagram said, we are, and I never really looked at it that way because I would just kind of post and go. But somebody said, we are your followers. We're following you. This is your community. And I was like, oh, wait. Shit. It is. Okay, girl, what can I do? All right.
Okay, so with that being said, it seems like it was definitely a change for the positive. Like, you building the Acacia community and everything that you do offer is like great, and it's definitely needed within the community. But I know with everything there comes a little bit of like, I wouldn't say hardship, but a little bit of struggle. Like, what was the like what did you have, like, how was it transitioning from one thing to the other? Like transitioning from corporate to now being solely, primarily working for yourself. Like, what were some of the things that you had to mentally break through to, get there? Because I myself understand, I still work a corporate job, but I'm working to be more like this. So just like giving advice to, I know there's a lot of people out there that aspire to work for themselves and to kind of stand on their own feet as far as like, whatever they're doing. But there is a little, there is some, it's not just like a easy transition always. So what are some things that would you say?
So, there's so many things that I want to say, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But in essence, the Acacia community and money are just accessories on the journey of entrepreneurship. The journey of entrepreneurship is all about you, yourself. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with clients. It has nothing to do with products. It's about you. And so the hardest part of this journey mentally has been the trust factor. Trusting that it's something higher than me, it's something in me that is going to catch me when I jump. And I've taken several jumps in my career where I just leave. I'm like, hey, you know what? Can I cuss? Fuck y'all. I'm out of here. Hey, I'm not putting up with this shit. And so I've done that a lot, but this time was different because I didn't look to go into another career. I looked into myself. And so a person that's very ambitious, somebody that's very goal-oriented, I had to learn that the end doesn't justify the means, and that $25 in the office is the same $25 at a warehouse. $30 in the office is the same $30 at TGI Fridays. So I learned to just go get the check. Right. Who cares where the check is coming from? You know, if I have to go and host at TGI Fridays for 90 days, then I need to go do that. If I need to go to the warehouse, if I need to go shovel coal to get the coin, then I need to do that. What was most important, number one, was that I had the freedom and I had the time and the flexibility. So in a corporate setting, you are personally, feel like it's a certain level of respect that I should get. It's a certain level of treatment that I should get. If I just decide to quit my job and then I'm going to the warehouse and I keep saying this because this is what I did, then I know how you treat warehouse people. I know you don't give a darn about me. So I know I'm there just for the money. I'm not there for the long term. So it was, again, the end doesn't justify the means. It's not about where you work and it's not about your title. I'm there to get my money. And it's so crazy. So while I have been just doing odd jobs, because I do whatever it takes, I'm doing these odd jobs, I'm always aligned with the person that elevates me in some way. Because I'm very spiritual. So I'm at this warehouse and I'm like, okay, Spirit, why am I here? This is weird. I never seen myself doing this. Okay. But I'm at this warehouse and I met someone who in literally 3 days changed the entire course of my life. One conversation on one aisle in the warehouse and I was like, oh, this is why I need to be here. Same thing at TGI Fridays. I had an attorney walk in and he was like, why are you so bright and lovely? You look like you enjoy being here. And I was like, that's funny because I don't. I hate it. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, this is what I'm doing. And I explained to him the Acacia community. And he was like, oh, you have a nonprofit tied into your Acacia community? I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, okay, well, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to do all of your paperwork. Just give me the tax write-off form. An attorney.
Wow, so you're going to do your 50.
I already did that myself, girl. Yes, I do that too.
I got
yes. I do that too, okay. But no, just helping, like, so I could only get myself to a certain point, just making sure all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. When you start to work with corporate structures, you want an attorney to kind of look over your paperwork. So just aligning with him. If my pride or my ego had been in a way, I'm like, girl, I ain't going to no TGI Friday to go clean no table, I would not have met that person.
From what you've just said, like, what I took from that and what I hear is that, like, being able to step out on faith and allowing spirit or whatever you believe to guide you is, like, the way to get possibly to where you're trying to go, in a sense. Maybe, no?
Yes, and again, it's about trust. So I think as a human collective, we do struggle with trusting the system. We struggle with trusting one another. And so this was a full trust. I trust spirit to not let me fall on my face. And if I do fall on my face, I trust spirit to know that that's the best thing for me. I always go back to Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, homeless for 3 years, living in his car. Tyler Perry, homeless for 7 years. And within that time, they still knew that he knew he was Steve Harvey when he woke up. Right. He knew he was Tyler Perry in his homelessness. So if I were to lose everything, yeah, it would be embarrassing as shit. It would be very embarrassing and it would be uncomfortable. I would be scared. But within that, I'm still trusting that something is working for me. It's scary and it's liberating at the same time.
I can relate. Listen. I can relate to this all the way. So with that being said, we're not going to talk too long. But I definitely have one question. There's one question that as I continue with my interviews and as I get better and it's whatever, I'm going to always ask this one question because I feel like it's very important to have like introspection and just not only just introspection, but to be able to reflect, I guess, introspection, reflection, whatever. I'm just going to ask the question. Y'all get what I'm saying. So basically, if you were able to go back to your younger self and tell your younger self 3 things, what would it be?
Ooh, don't listen to anybody. Do not listen to anybody. Trust yourself. Trust in your gifts. Trust yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. And relax. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, girl. You're gonna do it, and you're gonna turn out beautiful. Look at you.
Well, I really appreciate you allowing me to come into your home. I'm so comfortable. It's so spirited. I just love being in here. I appreciate you for allowing me to interview you. I appreciate you for being my first interview. I appreciate you for being some mentor to me. I'm just grateful, and that's a wrap.
That's it.
Thank you.
Before we go, let me tell you guys. KrystalIsABomb.com. I know she bigged me up, but I literally just dropped a seed in her spirit. She has done all the work. She has transformed herself. Please take her intuitive dance class, okay? Please get her chakra shea butters. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And reach out to me if you want to be interviewed. Like this isn't something that I'm just going to and offer to select people. I feel like we all as women, we all have something to offer each other, and we're all coming from different sectors. And I just feel like we should be able to each one teach one and each one build one. Like that's something that they used to do. Like I know back when I was in school, they had this thing and it was like, what is it? Makes a day a better day or whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just saying that if you have something to say, if you want to inspire, just reach out to me. And yeah, let's get it popping.
Let's get that thing popping. All right.
Shout out to the cameraman. I appreciate
Cameraman
you.
Jay. Last minute, he has King Photography. He'll be tagged in it too.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Ashe.